What's happening, people? Thanks for all your suggestions passing by the channel, much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Don't forget as well, please, to like and share the videos. And it's good to be back. Obviously, I've taken a few months off doing YouTube, and that was very much because I was working full time. I had a very busy schedule. It was not really fitting into that. There also wasn't a lot of boxing going on. There's a lot of turbulence going on in, you know, my life and what I was doing. You'll notice my setting now is different. That's because I'm in Scotland. This isn't going to be something that's long term. I'm only going to be here for a couple of weeks. Once I've got everything sorted, I'll be moving back to the northeast, back home. But I wanted to do a quick video today on my football team, Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, it's been quite a turbulent season with sanctions and, you know, results, players already signing for other clubs, all that kind of stuff. And I had the displeasure of watching them lose a cup final on Saturday to Liverpool. Again, in a penalty shootout, no less, which are just horrible. But one thing I want to do is, instead of focusing on the negative of what's been happening, this is actually the best opportunity Chelsea could have wanted. And I think the sanctions and Roman selling the club is actually a silver lining for restructuring and fixing the club from some issues that have been going on long term. So these kind of problems which we have had as a football club have been around for a while now, constantly going through different managers, constantly going through making big signings based on name and not really based on how they fit in the team. So I just want to go through a few reasons why I think actually restructuring and Chelsea could actually work better and is actually a blessing in disguise rather than a curse. Got nothing against Roman Abramovich. This is no hate on Roman at all, by the way, because it's not his fault the clubs had gone this way. It's very much because the UK government banned him basically from entering the UK back in like 2018. So he's not been able to have a say in how the club's been functioning. So very much it's been up to the board, the likes of Marina, Bruce Buck, come onto them later. And I was very much against American owners, but after seeing the way Todd Bowley does run the Lakers and some of his other projects, he does seem to have it up here in terms of running a club. So that's why I do actually welcome Todd Bowley's ownership. So for me, bringing him in, Chelsea need to become a more data-driven club, a bit like Liverpool, because if you look at the transfers which we've made, it's been very unnecessary. I mean, case in point would be this season, the Lukaku transfer, not really needed. Big money spent, going to take a loss on it. Same happened with Kepa in 2017. We panic buy all the time late in the transfer window, and it's a really poor tactic. It ends up with us spending more money than we actually intended because the other club managed to turn the pressure that we're putting on them onto us, because they say, if you don't want to pay the money, you don't get the player and we'll walk away, in which case we end up going back and going, actually, you know what, we're that desperate, we'll just pay the big money, fine. So I think we need to follow that Liverpool model and become more of a data-driven club. The way Liverpool signed Luis Diaz in January for me was just a stroke of absolute genius. He has basically taken over from Mo Salah, who's had a little dip in form, still a fantastic player, but he's basically taken over from him and scoring them goals and winning them trophies. Indeed, he's been Liverpool for 3 or 4 months now. He's already won 2 trophies with them. That is marquee genius signing. That's what you need. So for me, I welcome Todd Bowley coming in. When it comes to the board, Bruce Buck needs to go immediately. I mean, the guy's a dinosaur. He's been here for too long. He was in the pocket of the Ricketts. He was the one that took us into the Super League. It's just time for a change. As for Marina Granovskaya, right, she should stay, but only as sporting director, not director of football, because that's what we need. We need a proper director of football. The two which I would be happy to take would be Michael Edwards from Liverpool or Paul Mitchell, who was director of football in Monaco. Either of those two I would be absolutely fine with taking, because they're clearly competent at what they do. They know the job, they know what's required of them, they know how, like, hiring, scouting, especially Chelsea's scoutings have been crap. It doesn't take a genius to scout Lukaku, Hakimi or Haaland or players like that, whereas good scouting like at Man City and what we're seeing at Liverpool is what's helping them win titles, win trophies. That's what we need to get sorted. As for coaching staff, I mean, Thomas Tuchel's the man. He is who we need. Tommy T and Emma Hayes should absolutely stay. They are fantastic at what they do. Give them a lifetime contract. That's what I do. So if you look at the current squad, we have 4 players which are already going. That is Tony Rudiger, Marcos Alonso, Christensen and Azpilicueta. Right. On top of that, I would also sell a further 6. Those would be Kepa Arrizabalaga, Jorginho, Lukaku, Ross Barkley, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Kennedy, and obviously Saul's going back to Atletico Madrid. So I think with that 4 sold already, that leaves 4 sold already, 1 going back to Atletico after his loan's done, and if we sell 6, keep 14. That's a total of 11 players going out the window. That gives us the chance to have a full rebuild of the squad. Now, I'm not talking about totally just spending loads of money and buying players in, because at the end of the day, we've done that in the past and it's not worked. We did that with Lampard in 2020, and yeah, Kai Havertz, Thiago Silva and Mendy have worked, but with Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech, it's not really worked. So that's why we need to focus on bringing in some of our own talent, and also focus on building a squad which has good relations as well. Because Chelsea at the moment have 24 players out on loan. 24, which is just ridiculous. So for me, to bring some from the academy has worked before. You look at what Reece James, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Tomori have done. You know, yes, Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think we should sell to either Borussia Dortmund or someone like that. Maybe Timo Werner might leave as well. I don't think he should. I think Timo Werner has been pretty good for us. But in terms of who I would bring in, right, from the academy, obviously Conor Gallagher and Armando Broja for me are just like easy. They've got Premier League experience recently. Conor Gallagher had that amazing season at Crystal Palace. Armando Broja has been tearing it up for Southampton, looking really big, really strong. So get him at the front. When it comes to Billy Gilmore, I would be tempted to maybe loan him out again to maybe a championship club, somewhere where he's going to get constant minutes and somewhere that's not as much of a car wreck as a Norwich. Because let's face it, Norwich were always going to go back down after the Premier League. No offence to them, they're just not cut out to be up here. And then the other 3 I would bring in would be Levi Colwill, Ethan Ampadu and Ian Maatsen. Now I know what people are going to say, well, they're too young to start in the Premier League. Well, at the end of the day, Reece James and Mason Mount and Callum were all 19 when they started. And I'm not saying that they're all going to go on the same level as Reece and Mason, but if you give them the chance, that development could be there. You know, maybe keep them for a season. If they prove themselves enough to get in the first team, put them in the first team. If they have a full season, it doesn't work out, you can at least sell them and then make a profit off them. You know, sounds like we're exploiting them, but really you've got to use the academy. You've got to have smarts, you've got to use your data, and that's the problem which we haven't done. So those 5 I would definitely bring through to the first team. That's replacing some of the ones we've sold. And then if we sign, I mean, I think Jules Koundé will come to Chelsea like immediately. I think he's just kind of meant to be here. So I would definitely sign him. For me, the other one is Aurelien Tchouameni from Monaco. That guy just looks like an absolute wizard, and we need a DM. We need a defensive midfielder, and we haven't had one for so long. So those 2 I would definitely sign. The other one would be Cucurella. I mean, that guy, if I could think of anyone else I'd want on our left-hand side, apart from Ben Chilwell, it would be that guy Cucurella. He's just an absolute beast the way he just runs it. He's just so versatile. So those 3 for me, must buy. Tchouameni, Koundé, Cucurella. As for any other ones, we have been linked to Dembele, who, on a free transfer, and if his wages are all right, I'd take him. And then I'd say just some more. I'd say one more defence and one more attacking. I'd say either Nkunku or Lewandowski, and Koulibaly or Kimpembe. I'd probably lean towards Kimpembe over Koulibaly, and Nkunku or Lewandowski. I'd take either of them. They're still coming from the Bundesliga, so you have that kind of Bundesliga tax. But yeah, that's what I would do overall. If we want to fix Chelsea going into the next season, we need to have quite a huge rebuild like we're seeing the talk of over at Man United. We need something which is going to inspire the young players to come through. So that would be my plan on how to fix Chelsea in 2022. So hopefully this won't be the last video I do in a long time. I am going to try and do a few more on here. Thanks for passing by. Here's to the next season of football. Good luck in the Champions League final to Liverpool and Madrid, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.